I just feel like we are surrounded in this world by bullshit.
So how can you know what's real and what's not? Science versus. That's how. We answer questions like, does anti-aging skincare actually work? And what is your true personality type? And to answer these questions, we don't use opinions. We dive into the scientific studies, talk to the experts, and put it in a podcast that I know you are gonna love. Listen to Science Versus on Spotify.
So, let's talk about this. So, the king of rollouts, or one of the kings of rollouts, is J. Cole. And so, he dropped recently. Might Delete Later Volume 1. And I think from all accounts, right, there's a few things we need to keep account of, especially when he says March 16th, people kissing the label kissing a ring. So, in my mindset, the verse itself is interesting. So, I guess everyone knows why we're here. We're talking about J. Cole. But we're also going to talk about some of this. We're going to talk about this, right? We're going to talk about Might Delete Later Volume 1, which I think, right, is amazing because it has multiple points in here. However, there's a few things I want to draw attention to, right? But the first thing, of course, is that March 16th, right? Because March 16th in the Team Summit, like, they're going to drop something March 16th because this is a rollout I would love to see, right? Because he says he has A's throughout math, which is another reference he uses in here. Is he talking about mathematics, or is he just talking about, or is he really just talking about the numbers? Because the numbers on his rollouts are amazing. So if he's talking about that rollout, that's funny and that's also very interesting, right? And so there's another line here that I really want to draw attention to. But before we start this episode, there's a line I really want to talk about and drop into, but I have to start it off. I'm Phoenix walking the line. I'm about to catch is Benjamin Button. Getting younger as the hours pass, which is like it's a disease, right? But it's the disease for Benjamin. I have to figure out what it explains. Give me a minute. But it's also, I forgot. Benjamin Button is also a disease, but the disease in itself, it's basically what it's a gene mutation, right? That will cause proteins and other stuff to affect it. But in short, it's just it can cause joints and heart disease and lead to like a fatal stroke or a heart attack. Which, I mean, that's. But see, the line that he uses is Benjamin Button is getting young every hour. It's because it a side effect of this, and it's not really it's a side effect, but it's not really a huge that sounds insensitive, but it ages you very rapidly, like very, very quickly. I think people have said that the gene can sometimes, like, you can change in the face rapidly, which, I mean, I get, but aging, it's a weird slope, but I understand, right? These lines make sense, but you either have to know what he's talking about, or you have to have a weird understanding, right? Which I think is interesting. Okay, but he also says March 6th. So I'm gonna get into all of this, but I think those are lines I wanna talk about at the very beginning, right? And then at the very beginning, that's what I'm gonna get into. But okay, so Might Delete Later Volume 1. It's interesting to me because he says I I said I was finished, but I want another 2 summers, right? So if the Fallout is ideally his last album, and the rollout to this last album is give or take like the rollout to end his career, right? To end the Fallout, ideally, the Fallout is his last album he drops, right? Ideally, right? And he's hyping it up now. That means we have 2 years of it, right? But then that means we're getting 2 other albums or a mixtape, unless he plans on doing a feature run, because he's on a feature run in 2021, 2022, 2023. So I wonder if he's doing another feature run. If he is, that'll be amazing. That'll be something I will gladly talk about if Cole does it, but I'm not entirely sure. And he says this Hall of Famer is hungrier than all the newcomers, which I guess what he's getting at is he loves to make music to be competitive and to make new music. But at the same time, when you ask a lot of these newcomers in music, especially in rap, they'll say they're just making it for the fun, right? So the money is just a bonus, but they're just doing it to have fun, which we could argue this idea that rap in itself has been to explain how people are living and the situations that people are living in, but at the same time giving people a reason to look at things. And so when we get that comparison of this from J. Cole, it's, who is this? Is he referring to himself? Is he doing this from Andre 3000, where they wanted to make music and they got the passion to do it? Then when you look at these newcomers, and I'm not like name dropping anybody, but they don't want to seem to make it anymore. Like they don't want to, like they're not competing against anybody. So, for example, Cole, Kendrick, their routine is to drop every 4 years, which would mean we should be getting something from Cole, ideally soon. But as I said, I don't rush. I like to rush artistry because it's interesting, right? So J. Cole dropped the Fallout. Dropped the Fallout season in 2021. By that example, he should drop it in late 2025, which would mean he would have 2 summers to do. Apparently, just have 2 summers. But it's rumored in this 9-minute video that the Fallout's already finished, and that they haven't played the Fallout for anybody in its entirety, which is concerning, right? Because it's a Cole project, and you haven't heard anyone listen to the full album, which I guess is weird, right? Because either this concept is you're playing the full album, you're playing half of the album, and people love it, or you have a part A and a part B side, which I think is amazing, right? Because if Cole drops a part A and a part B, this is interesting, right? But I'll get to that part A. I'll get to the B side and the A side, right? Because if he does it, it'll be one of his albums where he drops a part A and a part B side, which I think would be kind of amazing because it would have features, but it could also, you could experiment a lot with that, right? Even if it's like part B is just J. Cole beats with people rapping on J. Cole beats on part B, and J. Cole just rapping on part A, which creatively that would make a lot of sense to me. However, I know I'm not the majority when it comes to that. People swear they compare, but the truth humble. Which, I mean, a lot of people need to humble themselves when they think they're in the top, when they're near J. Cole, but they're not. But yeah, so it's just, he got all A's in math, so he can keep it. I mean, on the numbers, I count fast, which just means you just count some money fast. Which I think to a certain extent, right? We talk about Cole and we talk about the numbers he puts out every time he releases an album. And he said in his interview that people are still buying music, which would be representative of me and some other of a smaller sample size, right? But it's to hear tell the label I got all A's throughout math, which is it's a funny line to me. And it's funny because it says you know the money you owe me, which could refer to this idea that people owe J. Cole money for features, which artists have known to like split the feature fee plus the video fee, which J. Cole's been in videos and in features, which is amazing, but that's part of his feature run. So this is interesting. He says he's Jonah Phoenix and Walking the It's all about the cash Benjamin disease I talked about. So he said I should do the freshman cover twice because I'm never outcast class, which I think would be interesting if he's talking about his alter ego, right? Because J. Cole allegedly did a freshman cover, original freshman cover under the name J. Cole, but people know he has an alias, which I think if he was to do another, freshman cover, or if he does it under J. Cole, I think it would be. I know for a fact if J. Cole did it, it would do numbers. Like that's not what I'm worried about, but it would be very interesting to almost to kind of see it in real life, because I think, and I can be wrong. I will. And I'll hold that. If I am wrong, that's fine. But I think, if J. Cole did it under his alter ego, I think that'll be great. But if he did it under himself, under the J. Cole title. So, as I'm saying, these are great ideas. I don't know if these are going to be the ideas that people pick with, because I know for the freshman cover, it's a board decision. So, if the board decides to give him another freshman cover, I see nothing wrong with that, right? But I know that has to be a discussion with the board that does the freshman covers. And he says the fallout is like Hov dropping Reasonable Doubt last, which this, I don't mean to be controversial, but if you're Jay-Z fan, or if you are, I don't know, if you like music, right? People have argued for years that Reasonable Doubt is Jay-Z's best album, and he probably should have dropped it last. Which, granted, it is a 13-song track, and if you think that's the best album, I personally like Reasonable Doubt. I think Reasonable Doubt might be Jay-Z's best album individually, but it's this thing where he's just talking about the fall off is like Hov dropping Reasonable Doubt, which Reasonable Doubt in itself was a high bar for Jay-Z, and people said he should have probably stopped after Reasonable Doubt. But I don't know, right? Because if the fallout is so great, then I'm with the J. Cole. Give me 2 summers. Give me 2 summers. Give me 2 or 3 more summers before you drop the fall off. Because it's gonna be hard to top it. And I don't say that as a critic of J. Cole. I say that because I don't know. I have a love-hate relationship with Reasonable Doubt. Even though it is 13 songs, I have a love-hate relationship with Reasonable Doubt as an album. Which is weird, right? It's this idea that if you're gonna drop an album as powerful or as motivation for other people, I don't know, and I mean this, with, and this could just be J. Cole just simply saying that the fallout is Reasonable Doubt is Hov's best album, and he should have dropped it last, right? I think that's a high bar, right? I think that's a high bar to set for an album, right? But this is J. Cole. He's one of the best at rollouts. So I just wonder he says he says people are crying crocodile tears because I'm a tear they don't see. Which, I mean, if he's saying that he's on a higher tier than everyone else, I mean, this is his way of basically saying he's the best rapper. Which I think, if you don't say he's the best rapper alive, I think that's the best way to say it. Because we were tired of the phrase "I'm the best rapper alive" because we would always say "prove it," and if this is his way of proving it, and that's great. But that's something. This, you're putting a lot of pressure on the Fallout, and I don't know whether to be happy that you're dropping the Fallout or to be worried about the fall off. But March 16th bar is something interesting to me. Or unless somebody's from the campus dropping on March 16th. But on March 16th, I'm waiting for that date. It ain't love if it costs something. Right? How dare you rub your hands on this trophy? Which, if I don't know if he's talking about the album and he doesn't want people touching this album or touching the money. Because he refers to money in the next line. We're in another we're in another hemisphere spitting, which him, JID, the whole Dreamville roster, really, when they rap, I love when they put their stuff out. But I don't know if that's who he's relying or basing it off of, because Boss dropped an album last year, so I'm not entirely sure. But it's, how dare people rub his hand on this trophy, which, if he's talking about the creation of the fall off, that's putting the Fallout on a high level. Which is, I guess it's a good thing, right? Because I would prefer that he's amazing than he drops something and not have hopes in it. But this right here is concerning, because if you're saying you're doing this, either that feature list is amazing or that album. And so if you're going back into producing, as you say, or you want to start producing more, which I think would be a masterpiece in itself, but unless you're producing all of these beats, all these songs that you're rapping on, I'd be careful. Like, I love J. Cole. I like J. Cole as an artist, but I'm worried because I'm hyped for the Fallout. I'm hyped of the idea of the Fallout, but I'm worried because this is such a high standard. But I know J. Cole can reach high standards, so I'm not really worried about that. With it all being said, if we're looking at the Fallout from right now, right, 1985 is the introduction, and I assume might delete this later, or that 2-minute song that's in between that 9-minute video would be part of the fall off. So, if that's the case, we have 1985, which is the introduction. So I don't know where this goes on a Fallout. I'm not entirely sure. But if those are the two songs that lead me into the Fallout, I'm very happy because they showed his lyrical ability. So, with that being said, we'll wait till the Fallout, and if he drops something on March 16th, I'll be right here to share the news with you. So, with that being said, hope you enjoyed the Words Against CJ Music podcast, and I'll see you in the next one.